All right, guys, what's up? Connor Ferguson and Eric Bridger here for another episode of the Always Race Day podcast. Going to preview the World 100 here in a bit. We're going to talk Tuscarora 50. My mom just threw a hell of a sneeze from upstairs. So if you guys heard that, props. I think we've gotten like 5 shows and there's always something in the background. So keeping it interesting to say the least. But we're going to recap the weekend. Sammy Swindell got a win. McCarl family did pretty well at Lake Ozark on Sunday, maybe Monday. The days are running together now for me, but we'll get to all of that. And as always, I remind you guys, like and subscribe, please helps us out. Anything you comment on any of the posts for our shows as well, especially live, helps us out a ton. So even if it's just a, hey, what's up? We'll give you a shout out at the very least. We'll read all the comments. And any questions, anything you guys want us to talk about, throw that in there and we will talk about it. I promise you. Real quick before we start, brought to you today by Chris Weiser and the Weiser companies. They hopped on board with us during the Knoxville Nationals and very thankful for him to do that. He's a sponsor on Rico Abreu's car. Very nice guy and some very interesting and exciting stuff coming with that you guys should see coming up here pretty soon. But Eric, how you doing?
Pretty good. Short work week, but a lot of racing happening over the Labor Day weekend. So yeah, pretty busy week for racing wise.
Yeah, kept me on my toes. We got Cyhawk coming up on Saturday and interviewed the new. I got my Barnstormers shirt on. New Barnstormers coach got hired and officially named, I guess, today. Not hired today, but interviewed him. Super cool guy. I can't wait for you guys to meet him, but that's a different venture for me. So we'll talk the racing. We will get right into it. Rico Abreu is where we're going to lead. No surprise. Shout out to Chris Weiser. He brought out the brooms at Skagit, swept the weekend at the Skagit Nationals, banked, I think, 150 grand, something along those lines. And just really impressive racecraft from him from the first night to the last. And the first night he was running a diamond line kind of where he cut off the exit at 2 and no one else could run it. And he in turn was faster down the backstretch than anybody there. I think he came from 7th or 8th to get that win. And the rest of the weekend just looked like the class of the field, and he takes over the high limit points. Eric, what are your thoughts on that, especially the points battle that's become pretty tight still, despite the injuries we've seen to the guys in the top 5 there?
Yeah, after the one guy that was behind in points that didn't get injured, it seemed to be Rico, and taking advantage of this weekend was pretty impressive to sweep all 3 nights. And I'm sure Brad wasn't too happy if they have motor issues Friday night. That sent him back a lot.
Yeah, there was 2 nights. I think it might have been Friday. It was Thursday, Friday. It was Thursday, Friday for sure that he went out of his heat race, which, we don't see him DNF at all, let alone doing it in a heat race.
Yeah. I mean, it's something you don't really see very rarely, and I can't even remember the last time you saw something like that happen with the KKR 49. So, for one guy that was behind in points, definitely took advantage of it this weekend. So it's gonna be interesting to see. They got another big weekend coming up with the Tusky 50, and they can change with that. It looks like as well, based off of last week. But their point races are starting to dwindle down. After Labor Day, there's not too much national series racing for sprint cars happening. There's a little bit decent amount in September. Once you hit October, though, it's very few, and usually by the time the championship battles are already settled by now, pretty much. So, but it's gonna be look forward to see, and definitely have some interesting eyes to watch the racing along with the championship battle as well too.
Yeah, and another thing with that, as far as the charter spots go, Chase Randall Racing, 1377 points. Right behind him, the CJB Motorsports crew, 1361. So I almost did bad math there. 16 points separates the 2 of those guys, and that's kind of the only race for one of those charter spots. That's Jason Myers Racing is still there with they're in 9th, about 100 points ahead of CJB, 103. So I mean the cutoff is top 10 this year. with how things have sorted itself out. But that's the points race I'm, most eyes on or most looking forward to see who gets that final charter spot and what that turns into.
Yeah. Don't know the whole details yet. I don't even know if they're finalized yet.
I don't believe they are.
I don't think they are either. But yeah, it looks like a lot of money potentially on the line for having the charter spot and keeping that charter spot. There's been talks of if
we should call them franchise spots. That's their
franchise.
That's their new word.
Yeah, that's a new word. Yeah, they want to get them entwined with the NASCAR charter system, which I don't blame them because that's a mess.
Talk about that. I hate doing the shows on the days that we're doing them because like the NASCAR judge ruled on some stuff today, and then it's super confusing. And I've just been head over heels in dirt stuff, and I'm like, I'm not looking at it till after the show.
Yeah. I mean, so the franchisees. I mean, there's been talks about if Jason Myers Racing decides not to go full time next year, do they sell that or can they sell that to another team that might be interested in buying it? Whether that's a second Clausen Marshall car for Geo or whatever it might be.
You're just throwing I like it. Eric is name dropping. You do that. Let's have a formula here where I won't risk my journalistic integrity, and Eric's not a reporter, so I'll have you throw out all the names I hear, and then we protect ourselves. We're good.
Yeah, just what I hear on the online social media stuff or podcasts or whatever. So whatever that may be. So I don't know. I mean, is it, or do you try to risk it and try to get more of a bigger payout, 3 or 4 years later if they're worth more money or if they might be worth nothing at all?
Yeah, and it really it's a tough, it's a econ 101 type of, not problem, but explanation of it is it's worth whatever people are willing to pay. So if no one wants to buy into it, if the system's not optimal enough to, purchase a big enough stake, not a big enough stake, but purchase a large enough number, if it doesn't incentivize you to do that, it won't be worth anything. So there's a lot of twists and turns. That's definitely why it isn't finalized yet. I would go out on a limb and say that. I don't know the inner workings of it, but it's a complex thing and you got to get it right, and you got to get it right the first time. You can't, we're past 5 minutes. You can't limp dick your way into it. I just making sure we're past the 5 minute mark so I could say limp dick. So, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who of those two guys who gets the spot, what CJB does. And this is going to be like a loaded off season between pavement and dirt. Like if there is a year for me to go full time into covering dirt racing, it's definitely this year for this off season.
Yeah. I mean, both sides, you got talks of franchisees and charters, both on the asphalt and dirt side. You have some drivers moving on the dirt side and some guys on the asphalt side that are trying to get their rights secured next year. So it's definitely going to be interesting.
Yeah, 100%. Other news in sprint car racing. We talked about Donnie Schatz getting the ride out west. He'll be out there with the Outlaws. The high limit teams, meanwhile, go across the country to Port Royal for the Tuscarora 50. But some other guys over the weekend, like James McFadden, it was his last weekend in the States. They were running the Skagit Nationals Thursday and Friday, and the Tarleton crew completely closed up shop, said we're going to go home early, and went down to the reopening of Calistoga Speedway, which, holy picturesque. I mean, shoot, if we had 7 more of those tracks, and there are other tracks out there with great backdrops, I turned it on and I was like, this is just beautiful, even from the couch. Did you get to watch any of it?
I've watched some outlaw races before. I didn't get to see it this time, but I've seen some outlaw races out there, and it's definitely a pretty beautiful background. I think it's up there even with the the Skagit Nationals and all that stuff in the background there. It's pretty cool to see. Yeah,
absolutely. McFadden was who I was on. They went down there, go down there Saturday. They get the win on Saturday night with NARC, and they had a doubleheader weekend. Come back on Sunday, and I think they broke an axle, but James had to limp the car home past the start-finish line and then immediately spun out in turns 1 and 2. So talk about a close call, but a real slamming weekend for McFadden to go back to Australia on.
Yeah, nothing like bringing home the steering wheel, pretty much with the car braking with you on the finish line. So not a bad way to end up top. They were struggling their qualifying night at Skagit and pretty much just decided to go somewhere they can find out they can compete and try to win before McFadden goes home. So good to see him grab a W before he takes off, and hopefully he comes back next year during the summer and races again.
Right. Elsewhere, over in South Dakota, Ryan Timms takes home the Huset's track championship after Caleb Johnson had just a bad night. And, feel for the team DGRD guys with how close they were to a championship. Dennis works his ass off, puts a lot of racers that I wouldn't say need homes. They're not like sheltered puppies, but he goes and finds talent and he puts them in race cars. And you have to respect what he does. And so it just stings for them. But Ryan Timms takes home the championship there. And then Buddy Kofoid in the World of Outlaws race beats David Gravel in a battle of lap traffic, and a really good one at that. I think Gravel led the first 25, 27 laps, and Buddy got in front of him, and he didn't look back. Gravel nosed in front of him for half a lap, but Buddy kept the lead at the line. And takes home another winner's check from Huset's. So that kid's something else at Huset's. I don't get it. He is picture perfect, wins just about every time he's there, especially when they put up more money than usual, and takes home another one. It's kind of his own personal bank account now.
Yeah, if he didn't break whatever it was 2 years ago, whatever, he could have won another $250,000. And I mean, if Knoxville is Shotsville, it's definitely something for Kofoid, whatever that is. So he's definitely been on a roll and definitely likes the racetrack banks. Fits his driving style. Just get up on the wheel and letting her eat, and fast pace and fast speeds, and things just happen faster, which that seems to tend better for some guys, especially younger guys. That's for sure.
Yeah, shame on Buddy for not having a nickname that rhymes with Huset's.
It's a little tough with Huset's. I don't know.
Absolutely. Moving on to Lake Ozark, the Power Eye weekend. Austin McCarl takes home the 410 win with Power Eye. Joby Miller, just point standings update there, since we'll probably have Jeniton on in the next couple of weeks here. But Joby Miller leads Ayrton by 10 points for the Power Eye championship. Jeniton won it last year. He's trying to go back and repeat, and the motivation is definitely high there. But some older gentlemen, I don't even want to call them that, just legends of racing. Terry McCarl takes home a 360 win at Lake Ozark. I believe his first win since February of 2024. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Terry has done 410 racing, and I think he pretty much was about 2 or 3 years ago, just couldn't give it up. And I think with his age and everything, I think in the experience to make the 360 racing suits where he's at in his career, and definitely can give him opportunity to race still and still win some races. So chalk one up for the old guys. I know there's another person we're going to talk about that's a little bit older that got one for the old guys. So
yeah, we'll go on it now. You could have just
yeah.
you can handle those transitions. You got it.
Yeah. I mean, McCarl's definitely not Sammy's age, but winning a Sprint Invaders race, that's tough. But winning a 410 race at 69 or 68, almost 70 years old, I mean, that's pretty tough too. Sammy winning Saturday night at a local 410 show, I think it was. So
very local.
Yeah.
I think there's one other driver I'd heard of from the top 10 on that list.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a very local 410 show, but a 410 win's a 410 win. So not bad for the old man. And I don't know. I think this year, I saw more people at the Sammy Swindell trailer that were buying merchandise and not buying his book than I saw last year. So I think he's still got some life in him to sell some T-shirts and still enjoy racing and winning maybe a race or two.
Yeah, it's cool, man. I mean, just when I got into the sport, like having to learn all those guys, I'd heard of Sammy Swindell. I'd known the number one Channel Lock car. I didn't know anything else. Just, seeing the fans' reaction to their heroes still being around and close to the racetrack, and I got to interview Steve Kinzer a couple years ago. We talked to Sammy Swindell for our infield beers this year. Like some of the highlights of my career, just being able to see these guys that are still around, readily available. And you look at other series, and could you tell me when the last time Sam Hornish Jr. was outside? Or a guy, Juan Pablo Montoya. I'm just going after old IndyCar names. It's just different everywhere else. And in sprint cars and late models and dirt racing, it seems like these guys, you can't, it's like the addiction we all got. You can't keep them away from it, at least for too long. And it's cool to still see them kicking wherever they end up kicking. And that's cool to see Sammy win the other night. All right. Some news from the weekend. The big one, I guess we'll start with, is Cannon McIntosh making his 410 wing sprint car debut. So a lot of guys have come through the ranks, through USAC, through midgets, through whatever. And this seems to be a Toyota racing development type of thing. And McIntosh is going to race that Roth Motorsports 83 Junior with NARC this weekend at Placerville. I'm excited to see Placerville again for that one. That was they put on a banger of a race last time.
Yeah, that's where they host the Gold Cup, right? Placerville, I think it is. Or no, I'm thinking of a different racetrack. Never mind. That's Tulare. But Placerville is a pretty good racetrack too. I always want. It used to be, and I think there still is. Like after you get done watching all the Midwest races, you can turn on like around 10 or 11 o'clock, and you start watching heat races, and that place is always sweet. Big, small bull ring type of action. Yeah, and I didn't realize McIntosh has never been in a 410 sprint car before, but he's just been a midget guy and ruffled some feathers in the midget world. So I figured he'd stay a midget USAC sprint car guy. But I mean, if Toyota wants to put up the money for him to get in the ROP and drive a 410 wing sprint car, I mean, all means go for it. So I think that's a good track for him to start at because he's probably used to the midget of get up on the wheel and being aggressive. And I feel like it to be that Placerville. I mean, if they stuck him on the hot half mile, I mean, you're asking for trouble. So, I mean, being on the short track, that's a good start for him to be at, in my opinion.
Yeah. And along with that, being the guys that have turned into USAC guys, and I don't want to call them USAC lifers, but those guys that end up being there for a long time, we've seen a lot of them make the transition, a lot more moving over to the wing sprint car side because of the money there, or whatever it may be. Teams just working out, spots just working out, and their desire to go try it and go run it. So we'll see how it goes. In the most fair way possible. Many have called Cannon McIntosh a dirty racer.
Cannonball.
Yeah, one of the best videos we have on our page is Thomas Messerall getting kicked out of the Chili Bowl before they reinstated him and let him back in like 15 minutes later, which could have all been avoided if they didn't just quick trigger with kicking him out. But
heads to prevail.
Yes, and there's some guys atop the risers like yelling Cannonball at the camera. And Messerall playing along with it. And Messerall has been the mouthpiece of calling him Cannonball in a lot of the cases. But nevertheless, and I will also say that's just midget racing. It's kind of like if you went to the truck series and got in a lot of accidents, it's just going to happen. It happens there. They drive a lot differently. Yeah, you probably have a better thing.
It's just like what T-Mess says, slide or die. I mean, there's not too much difference between Cannonball and slide and die. So I mean, I don't know. It's just
you're absolutely right.
Sometimes it's just kids and adults playing with toys. It seems like, and they just go after each other and say, "Oh well."
Yeah, and however it turns out is how it turns out. But definitely a kid that goes fast and can go fast, very capable of going fast. Getting into a 410 sprint car is definitely interesting to see. So we'll see how it goes. I have my list all out of whack. So if I ever say something big and the next one isn't big and you think it's bigger, that's just on me because I'm an idiot. So it happens. But Aaron Reitzel is back in the Ridge & Sons 87 for the Tuscarora 50. Cool to see him back. they got some owners points to make up with how good Rico did. I should say I believe they were leading the owners points. Now they're 10 points out of first is the 87 team. And I framed that kind of poorly because Justin Sanders really did a great job of keeping them in contention for that title and to be up there and to be that close still with how he did out west they owe him a huge thank you because he was nails when he was in that car.
Yeah, it sounded like Reitzel was taking every precaution he could because if he didn't and something happened, there's going to be a longer recovery or more issues as you get older with the foot. So I feel like that was kind of the perfect scenario. I mean, I know they didn't do as well in Knoxville as they thought they were going to, but once they got out west, they definitely had some speed and showed some speed as well too. So I think that was a perfect scenario for both sides, and it worked out pretty well. And now with him heading out back east, looks like Reitzel's ready to go and give it another rip for the rest of the year.
For sure. And, Reitzel cooled down a little bit towards, leading up to the injury, but nothing what a few weeks off from the car.
It sounds like him being crew chief as well too, I think, for a couple nights. So that was pretty interesting. So
yeah, that was how it was presented for sure on the broadcast. I wonder how much can you pick up? You were as much of a crew chief as any driver crew chief out there, yeah?
No, just a steering wheel holder.
You would attribute your dad?
Yeah, that's all dad. I'm just a steering wheel holder.
How nice was that just to, when you race though, to have that and you didn't have to, obviously you're trying to learn as much as you can. And I know you're a lot smarter than I am just watching from afar. But how was that when you raced?
It was good. I mean, we had our system down and we just kind of stuck with it and it worked out most of the time.
Gosh, I got to stop making assumptions. I could have sworn I saw you under the hood just as much as your dad.
No.
Maybe you were putting on.
By holding the flashlight.
Yeah, that's completely fair. If you're watching, thank you for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Leave a comment, whatever you want to see. Leave a comment with any questions you have. And leave a comment just to say hi. We'll give you a shout out. Appreciate all you guys for tuning in. Last couple of things, and we'll get to the previews for the weekend. But Sheldon Hodenshield got fined $500 and was placed on probation for the remainder of the season early this week. Here's the quote from the release. It says, during the feature event at River City Speedway, Hodenshield approached a World of Outlaws official and made inappropriate physical contact with him by grabbing and twisting the official's helmet, which resulted in breaking the official's glasses and cutting his face. So just slap on the wrist fine in probationary period. But another run-in with Hodenshield and World of Outlaws officials. Obviously, the sponsor on the side of the car is the same sponsor as the title series, but Sheldon Hodenshield, amongst a number of drivers out there, and I'm going to tie this into something else, but I want to keep them separate. But Sheldon wants change with the officials. I plan on getting him on the show at some point in the next couple weeks. I tried my best, guys, getting late model guys. If you're on Twitter at all, just give Bobby Pierce shit for not coming on. Just didn't respond to my text. That guy. We were trying to get a late model guy on before the World 100, so couldn't do that. But we'll have some guests coming up in the next few weeks. But yeah, obviously Hodenshield wants change. We're gonna dive deeper with him when we get him. What do you think, Eric? Like with drivers, obviously frustrated with national touring officials, how do you get change? How do you perceive that a driver could do that? Because it's obviously very tough and the heads just seem to get bigger and hotter as arguments go.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that it's happened to him twice in like 2 or 3 years. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's just bad luck or bad timing, or it's just been a case of him just rolling into the infield and stopping like 15 to 20 feet after the incident. So, if official has his looking at the racetrack and he sees a car roll to him, he's probably thinking that he's stopping because of it. Something broke, not because he spun or hit someone else and spun into the infield. I don't think there really need to be change. I mean, if they really want change, they should maybe add another person or two to watch corners and just keep their eyes on corners. I don't know if they still do or not. I'm sure they have spotters to yell out for cautions or red flags. But sometimes that can be hectic on the track like River City or River Cities? No. Whatever track it was at. River Cities? Yeah, I think it's River Cities.
Yeah, River Cities, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if you really want change, there should be like some type of driver council or driver's text deal. But I don't know. I mean, maybe there already is, but I mean, if you're talking about adding more people to watch the races, that means more money and more payroll and more insurance and more taxes and all that stuff too. So, if they want to get paid money, I mean, could be a trade-off for it as well too. But I don't know. I think it's just happened to be a freak accident, and sometimes you just miss things because people are human, whether that's a start or what. I mean, that's happened to me in racing before too, and yeah, you get upset about it, but you also have to realize that, it's not going to be perfect all the time for you.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And I want to get Sheldon on here to get, what he's the heart of the core of what he's frustrated with. Because there's a couple different things where they've had run-ins, the officials and Sheldon, just what kind of changes he wants to see and stuff. I don't want to put any words in his mouth, but moving on here, the Ohio Valley Sprint Car Association scheduling a race on top of the Fremont Attica weekend, I said Fremont Attica. Scheduling a race on top of Atomic. It might be Fremont Attica. Dave Andrews sent out a tweet. He's the race director at Atomic Speedway over in Ohio. And so this series is doing double points this week. And it doesn't change the car counts from race to race very much. But he told me a guy like Danny Smith, now who's running for points in both series, has to pray that one of them rains out. And, you're going to go to the Ohio Valley one probably because it's double points. And I guess you got to compare into season purses. But on this topic, and first off, like the guys scheduling over each other sucks. Doesn't help anybody out. We kind of got to talking, and it's imperative a guy like Danny Smith, uses a platform, reaches out to us. We'll get you on. Like if you have complaints you want to voice, please, go through us and use our platform and have your voice heard a little bit, because we need drivers saying this stuff, because I've been on here bitching about people scheduling over everybody in the world. I just complain a lot. That's what I do. I used to tell Eric, if you have a complaint about any official, just tell me and we'll do it for you, just because we will. But it doesn't do anything when we're the only ones yelling about it, and these drivers are getting pissed off and, not using that voice and going on, a podcast like this, and how much a 10-minute conversation like that could help at least right the ship or do something. So I'm not trying to shame either side or, take a side with it. I just had to talk with him and said I'd say something on the show. But yeah, hopefully we get people to stop scheduling over each other and then making races double points just because another track close by has a race. I thought double points the Indy 500 was perceived as stupid by some, but that one might take the cake on that.
Yeah, it's no fun for Ohio tracks to try to take up, cars or whatever, especially this late in the season. Early on, I could see it. Maybe if you had like 2 rainouts or 3 rainouts and you want to race. But, it's coming in the season already and no reason for it. Just especially with how well that seems like they kind of have a good, strong sprint car community over there.
I would hope too that if you're going to do double points for a race, you do double purse, right?
Yeah, good luck with that.
Can you imagine they're doing that? I don't.
No, Unless they want double sponsorship, so I guess you better get on that, Connor.
I'm not 100% sure. So if they are, someone shout us out, correct us in the comments. But I don't think that's the case. Last thing from the weekend. This is kind of preview. I want to get down to the IMCA Boone Nationals next year, but I have no freaking idea, and I'll lean on the few street stock guys, the few modified guys that I know. I will lean on them next year. I have no clue what I'm watching when I'm paying attention to the results or clicking into. You guys saw the hockey fight video we posted the other day. I have no idea. Have you ever been there, Eric? Do you know anything about the Boone Super Nationals?
The only thing I know about it, it seems like you have your race champions the same night. So, like, say you have like 6 divisions. Then you have like your qualifying night, like say like for your stock cars one night. They'll have the race champions, and then they'll have like all their heat races, I think. And then they'll lock in those cars that from that qualifying night for like the big dance. But then I don't know if I assume they get a second chance, but I don't want to talk about it because that's the only thing I can know of. It's definitely a big event. I mean, I don't think it gets talked as much about it from people in Iowa, and I don't know why, but I think they get over 1,000 entries, and there's some big names in dirt racing that go there and race it. So it's definitely interesting. It's definitely good for the state of Iowa because I'm sure there's a lot of revenue that comes from it. So, but yeah, it's also good for the state of Iowa and Iowa racing to have another prestige event to be located in here.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely a huge race. We used to not be there because everyone that was affiliated with our site was working during the Cyhawk game. So now we don't have that issue.
I know they start pretty wide like every main event, which I think is pretty cool. And most of the time they feel like they get it like going, like they'll run like 15 laps. And I think the one thing about it is their rule is I think if you spin out, you're done for the race. Like if you cause a caution because you spin out, you're done for the race, which is a great rule to have in modifieds and stock cars. I mean, that's nice to have.
I'd support that in national auto racing if you spin out twice, maybe 3 times. I could definitely be talked down to 3. But if you spin by yourself twice in a race, you get kicked out.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why you get to see drivers spin out and then just keep on going because they don't want to get kicked out of the race or done for the night or whatever. So very interesting to see that type of rule, but I think it helps get the show going and makes drivers have respect for each other. Well, maybe not this week because you saw some French Tech entertainment for free.
I thought part of the whole party atmosphere down there is they will let you fight on the track, and there are fights on the track.
I don't know. I don't know what their ruling is. They had the famous sign of saying no crybabies allowed or whatever it is. So I don't know. I think that's at the pit track. I don't think you have the wheel of doom or the spinning wheel of doom, whatever they call it, Eldora.
No, there's no wheel of misfortune.
Wheel of misfortune, yeah. I don't think there is.
I do like that aspect.
Maybe you can bring one with them.
The crappy thing is just that the finale night I think is on the Cyhawk game. So
yeah,
we'll see. I'll sacrifice it next year. I won't care. It'll be in Kenneck. Iowa State wins there every year anyway.
Especially with it being in Ames. I know they can't control it, but that's just kind of odd that's that same night. But
yeah, and it's always it's just that weekend no matter what. And I don't know if it's like a tradition. It probably is a tradition for
Labor Day weekend. Yeah.
I got his shirt. I think he gifted it to me, honestly, because of what I did for Iowa State and known him for a couple years. Haven't talked to him in a minute. So, Kyle, if you're watching, reach out, hit me up. But it's got to be like a family tradition to watch it, at least if you're at the track and you are a big fan of either of those teams. And then the other, just having it that weekend and still selling out is crazy to me. It's like growing up, I remember not directly my parents, but parents of my sister's dance company giving the studio owner all sorts of shit because she scheduled a dance practice on the morning of the Cyhawk game. And it's like, dude, we care about the football game going on today. It's the one event in the state of Iowa. Like, don't schedule anything that day. Now I'm Knoxville National Saturday. Don't schedule anything that day. NASCAR, looking at you.
Iowa Speedway race.
Yeah. No, exactly. But yeah, it's just they sell it out. I can't, I can scream at them to move it all I want, but
it's crazy that how much racing they do from like sunrise or sunset. I think they start like at noon or 1:00.
I was gonna look at
And
gates open at 11 a.m. Racing starts at 1.
And if
that's Thursday.
If they rain out, like
noon.
yeah, if they rain out like one night they race like the next day from pretty much like 8:00 in the morning to like whenever. So shout out to the community of Boone too, because I know the racetrack's kind of close in town. So
my buddy Seth is a cop over there.
Shout out for them to let the noise happen during the work week. So
I'm fine if you live close to, if you move in close to a racetrack and the racetrack was there before you, that's on you.
Well, you're safe now in Iowa, so it makes that new law.
Thank God. Thank God for that. All right, let's get into some preview talk. We got the big late model race, the biggest of the world, coming up on this Thursday through Saturday. I almost said just Saturday, but it is World 100 weekend. As you guys know, Bobby Pierce, the defending race winner over there, but tons of names. And right at the top, I just want to get these three out of the way. Jonathan Davenport has won so many of these Crown Jewel late model races at Eldora. I don't think you can pick against him still. I'd probably, if I had gun to my head pick this weekend, I'd probably go Davenport. And then Ricky Thornton Jr. hasn't been the strongest at Eldora. Comes down to the it's called the Baltus Classic. It's the last super late model race before the World 100, so kind of like the Capitani at Knoxville. And they ran split features on Sunday, so Kyle Bronson won the second one, but Ricky Thornton Jr. took home the first one. And man, if they find something there and those three end up battling at the end, that's going to be an epic race.
Yeah. I mean, right now I would say it's probably between Davenport and Pierce. I mean, for your favorites, I wouldn't be surprised if you see a Thornton or a Overton or something like that, or even O'Neill speaking for one win. So it's interesting to see. I mean, looking at the different lists of winners, you have a Davenport dream going, but then the World 100 is kind of a little bit of a mix past winners. So, but yeah, I mean, I think your heavy on favorites going to be Davenport and Pierce until someone proves different for the near future.
And I wrote down Tim McCready on that list. You guys know we're buddies with Tim, and good luck to him this weekend. But he was fourth there last year. Does he have any magic running that bottom line and getting around the track like that? And I think this race comes down to a lot, Eric, is how the track looks, and then the first 30 laps, who's able to save their stuff, who rips their stuff till it tears apart and comes into the pits and is ready to go again. So it definitely, the 100 lap late model race is there. Like, there's so much to look for in the first 30 on how many cautions you get and like who makes what move, going through it. Like, you can get lulled to sleep sometimes if you don't know what's going on and you're not looking for it. But God, just the amount of ways it could go, it's endless.
Yeah, I mean, be interesting to see, because I assume it's going to be probably a little bit cooler there this week since it's cooler in the Midwest. So does the track become a little bit more heavy, or is it kind of like a slick and all that? And if that's the case, I think your tire choice is going to be interesting. Does guys risk it to do a softer tire and then try to stop halfway or 1/4 foot away and replace it and then go balls out? Or do you see like a Davenport does and just puts on a hard tire and makes it feel for 100 laps? So, I mean, I'd like to see Eldora maybe be a little bit more tacky for the late model guys, but I know those guys are like a smooth, spread out racetrack. So, but I don't know. It just seems like it just becomes one lane at the end with Davenport usually trying to go in the middle.
I think they should go to like the top 5 guys or the top 10 guys in the dirt on dirt rankings. Not who ends up top 10 in the starting lineup, because that stupid ass wheel screws up
Spin the
lineups.
wheel.
Then they wonder why there's cautions early in races at Eldora. God, if it wasn't for the whole one, but yeah, I would go to those guys and see what they want with the racetrack, and then do the complete opposite.
I don't know if there's gonna be strides. Like, you always want to see like a big curb like it used to be back in the day, but unfortunately, I think those days are over.
Yeah,
The one thing I'm interested though is to see if that hole in turn 1 happens with the late models or not.
Yeah, I mean it is harder for it to. I think you have. I mean, it's.
I don't think they bottom out. Yeah, I don't think they bottom out so much as a sprint car chassis does. So I think that probably won't happen too much. But I don't know. Could be wrong.
It will definitely be looking, and it's going to be a topic of conversation if it's there, for sure. A late model can go over that hole so much easier. You almost don't notice it as much. I think it's more. It was detrimental for sure during the sprint car weekend there, and not to say we haven't seen holes or tracks, cause yellows even at Eldora with late models. But just how those heat races go and the amount of people needing to get to 3 spots to qualify their way. I mean, you're not locked in on Saturday. You're going to a heat race, and you better race your ass off. Otherwise, it's not, you're not going to make it in. And the conditions are probably going to be different than they are for the race, because the heat races usually happen during the day. So I love watching that race. I can't wait for it Saturday. And the eyes will be on that hole in 1 and 2. A couple more late model guys I wanted to mention. Ryan Gustin having one of his best years. He's got Buzz Lightyear on the side of the car. Were there any wraps that stuck out to you that you thought looked cool? Have you seen any of them?
I guess I saw Brian Shirley's. That looked kind of cool.
The blue and yellow chrome.
Blue and yellow chrome. If you did chrome right, I really like it. I think they did that right. But unfortunately, no, I haven't really. I don't think they popped up on my X feed. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So I guess I need to click on more late model posts to see more of the schemes.
I like how it's almost like a unanimous. Everybody's got a special scheme, and I'm not saying the sprint car guys at Knoxville didn't do their part or anything, but I feel like there's more late model guys that do it, which I like alternate schemes for big races. As long as you do them right, I should say. I'm going to complain about the ones that are crappy. But I'm excited to see all of them. Bobby's is white with pink and yellow flames. You guys will laugh at it. So Tim McCready's doing a throwback to a guy named Barefoot Bob. And I don't think I know anything about him. I've definitely heard his name, but I don't know a thing about him. Have you heard of Barefoot Bob?
Barefoot Bob McCready? Is that who it is?
Is it his dad?
It might be.
I bet you I've heard the name Barefoot Bob from Tim. And I didn't even connect the two in my head.
That might be it. I might be wrong though.
There's some late model lifers watching this calling me a fool right now. Dylan, shout out to you. I will do my research. I will get that done. But cool paint scheme for him. Forget who it is, but someone's got one that says it spells out 0 instead of it being the number 0. I thought that was kind of cool. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Definitely a mix of things that can happen over there, and definitely interested to see who comes home with the win. Tuscarora 50. I did not copy and paste the notes into the rundown I sent you for the 50, but my eyes, at least, the storyline I'm watching is my guy Anthony Macri, who has just shown over the years he's electric at Port Royal. Does he get the win this weekend? Follow up the Kings Royal win that he got over the summer.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they. I honestly, I don't know if I watched him race since the Kings, since Nationals, and I know he goes back out east there.
Yeah,
but
I don't think he has raced too much.
Yeah, which I mean, some teams do take some time off. But I don't know who my favorite would be. I mean, out of the high limit guys, I would say maybe a Brent Marks and Rico. I would say Wrightsville, but coming back from injury, I think that's going to be too tough to do. From the PA side, I think you look at your Deweese, Macquarie, and maybe the 69K car, but it'd be interesting to see. I mean, for sure. I mean, if I had to put my money on it, I would say probably Rico, just because of can't go against a guy that sleeper weekend last week. So
He's also the defending winner of that race.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it's hard to go back to back on races from the year before, but yeah, I mean it's always a good show. I always like watching Port Royal. It's definitely a fun racetrack to watch sprint cars on.
Do you think it makes it harder trying to repeat in big races like that?
Yeah, I feel like things change a lot in tires and setup and all that stuff too. I would imagine that they have a good baseline, but the fine tuning of it changes a lot year by year, just because of just maybe if the tire is a little bit different from last year, or if this shock is different, or these shocks are different than last year a little bit. I mean, it's very hard to replicate, and plus people have different things they try as well too. It can be faster as you.
And you're kind of bitten by your previous success, right? Like it becomes harder to repeat because you won last year, and you're not going to get the same track. It doesn't happen in dirt racing.
Yeah, history. I mean, history just does that overall in racing in general. It's just hard to repeat. The only thing, the exception of it is like a Donnie Schatz in Knoxville or something like that, but that very rarely happens, I feel like.
We'll see if Rico does again this week. And the other thing I wanted to point out from last year's results is how strong Pennsylvania was. TJ Stutz was second, Anthony Macri was third, Logan Wagner was fourth, Justin Whittle was fifth, and Freddie Rammer was sixth. So, you have Posse, sweeping the rest of the top six behind Rico. Do they have anything for him? And do they have that strong of a race in them? So it's funny, when I was getting into the sport 5-6 years ago, they weren't winning against the Outlaws a lot, and I was wondering why the fans were so loud about it. And they are loud. They are passionate. And now I kind of see it. Okay, you guys do have some talent, and you are performing in big races now. So I'm kind of it's regressing back to the mean. And also I'm seeing, like, I knew there was talent in Pennsylvania. I was not sitting here saying there was no talent. But anytime you have a local contingent going up against a national tour, it's not the easiest. Your betting favorite and my betting favorite is on the national tour. So unique sport, fun times. How do I do that? Does the PA Posse have another performance like that in their bag?
I think so, because I think Port Royal is one of their tracks that they can show that. I think that track just gets slick enough and fast enough that they can, being a local, I think you can do better, have a chance with the national guys. I think Williams Grove is tough because that's just tough to pass, and I think Lincoln's tough because that's a short track. So I think Port Royal is just about the right mix of a racetrack for the locals to show their stuff off on against national stage.
And it's another, like, you don't want to call it a Darlington, but that high speed with those long straightaways, it's very different from a Eldora. In distance, I think it's about the same as Eldora in distance, but completely different racetrack, and how well you can run the top is, that can make or break your race, especially there.
Yeah. The top can be very technical, and the bottom can too. I think both drivers have their ways of, even the middle comes in sometimes too a little bit as well. If you're a Lance DeWeese or something like that, running the old guy line. So it's definitely a racetrack that people can have their expertise at, and if it falls in the right place, they can definitely make an upset versus the national guys.
For sure. All right. Should we do picks?
Sure.
So do you want to do a draft back and forth and compare at the end of the weekend?
That's fine. We can do that.
You want to go 3 or 5 from both races?
I better do 3 because
we can do 3. That's fine.
3.
It's easier for me to keep track of 3 anyway. For all of you guys that play My Race Pass Fantasy, I believe we will have a league on there next year. We're going to do about 6 big races on both sides, sprints and late models. Probably do Chili Bowl as well included in that. So stay tuned. We're getting the details sorted out, and should be fun. Everyone that plays it, I haven't played it before in my life, but everyone that talks to me about it says it's fun. I want to support my buddy Chris Krug over there at my Race Pass. So appreciate them. You pick which draft you want the first pick in, and then we'll do that one first, and then we'll go to the other one, and I'll take the first pick in that one.
I'll take Davenport for the drain or the world. Sorry.
That's okay, because if your 2 majors are the same racetrack with the same length and the same format, it kind of one takes away from the other. That's what I've always said. I'm going with Bobby Pierce. I have to. Yeah. Unless if he no shows on me for next year's World 100 preview, I gotta stop picking him.
Yeah. Then we pick for the Tusky, or
no? We'll go 3 rounds for this, and then we'll do the Tusky.
I will take. I'll take Overton.
You're gonna take Overton. All right. I'm going. I wrote down another name so I didn't forget, which I don't know why I did that. Ricky Thornton Jr. Thank you, Connor. Goodness.
And then I'll go with a wild pick. I'll go with Mr. Brandon Shepard.
I do like that pick. If I was going, I don't hate Josh. I don't hate looking at Josh Richards either. If we had more rounds, I would have gotten Richards in there. I'm going T-Mac. I'm going Tim McCready for my last pick. So we'll just add up their finishing positions, lowest wins. And then the Tusky. I got to start with Rico, I feel like, on the Tusky.
Okay. I'm pulling up the entry list.
Absolutely.
I'll do Macri.
You'll go Macri. Oh, that's the wrong entry list. See, I'm doing the same thing as you are.
I didn't even pull up the Dream entry list. I mean, that's how off the wall I went with it.
It's the funny thing about those races at Eldora, the late model Crown Jewels, is it almost feels like the same guys, keep
like, because they're going to have a Crown Jewel next weekend.
Yeah, exactly. But like a guy like Brandon Overton's like one of the only ones that, or now you could say Ricky Thornton Jr., depending on the weekend he has, that go back and forth, with getting fast there and then being really, really slow. And it feels like everyone else kind of stagnates out, at least over the years when you compare it from a macro perspective. Everyone kind of stays around the same speed they were coming in the year before, and then there's blips in the radar. But all right, just looking at old winners. Aaron Reitzel won this race in 2019. Macri way. Okay. This is okay. Who do you go with?
Macri.
You went with Macri. All right. I'm gonna go Reitzel. Just off that.
Surprised Brian Brown's back. Looks like he's back racing. I didn't know that.
Will he be back?
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
He won this race as well.
I will go with one of the hottest sprint car drivers of the year, Ryan Timms.
God damn it! I was hoping you didn't see that he was racing. All right, you got Ryan Timms for your second pick. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna do something crazy, but I need someone to get the message to TJ Stutz that he's on my team, and I need him to do well. This is a life or death pick'em. I don't know what title we're playing for, but we will figure it out. If you beat me, I'll Venmo your $50 back on Saturday. How about that, Eric?
Sounds like a deal. I'll go with a wild pick. I'll go with Ashton Torgerson.
Oh, I love it. That's a perfect. I think we picked out if you were.
Well, you have some interesting drivers. You have Searfoss, I think is interesting. I think the interesting of them all is Trey Starks in the 14 Jason Myers car this weekend. That is very interesting.
Okay, I knew that was happening, but I didn't realize Trey Starks race on the
Or
East Coast.
well, he spent like a year or 2 or 3 out in the East Coast solely for it.
Did he?
Yeah, so he has a lot of experience out there.
Did I know that? When was that?
It was
Was that before his
before,
Nationals prelim win?
yeah, or maybe that was kind of the end of him being on the East Coast. I think he's when he won his Nationals prelim is when he spent the whole year at Knoxville, and that was before that. He did the East Coast thing. He should drive the 44 car out east.
Yeah. No, yeah. I know he drove the 44 car out west. That's when you said east, it screwed up my head.
Yeah, I think he drove 44 as well too.
It used to be the every wheel cover he had was neon.
Yeah.
He won that Nationals prelim, and I was like, Dominic warned me about. I had met Dominic Scelzi like the night before, or the year before, or something. He warned me about Trey Starks at some point in that night. And Trey ended up sitting on the pole and then going on to win. That was one of the cooler. That helped me not capture the magic, but realize the magic that Nationals is.
For a guy that spent all year at Knoxville, I think that was his second year of doing that. It definitely paid off for him. So,
for sure. All right, we will see.
Who's your last pick? Is that your last pick, or
I did? Yeah, I did my 3 already. I had Rico, Aaron Reitzel, and TJ Stutz.
Okay, I got you.
They're calling it the dream team.
Rice.
Yeah. All right. We will see you guys next week. Thanks again to Chris Weiser and the Weiser Companies for being the presenting sponsor of the show. And thank you to everyone for tuning in and watching. Leave us your comments if you're watching this not live. Let us know what you want to hear on here. And yeah, stay tuned for the guests. We'll probably pick up guests next week. Trying to do it every episode. We're also trying to do it separate sometimes from the show. We want to put everything live in one video, but it's all dependent on when they can do it. So might have to insert interviews here and there, but working on all that, getting that organized, and really excited for you guys to keep hearing it and seeing it live on YouTube and wherever else you get your podcast. So thanks for everyone for tuning in. Big shout out to Eric, does this co-hosting thing out of the kindness of his heart. So give him some love on social media if you can too. So appreciate you guys. Eric, you got anything?
That's all.
Illinois football prediction for the week. Who they got?
They play Duke. So is that Duke? I will go with, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, so I will go Illinois 34, Duke 31.
Duke's got
a second field goal
quarterback, right?
He's a gunslinger, so it's going to be interesting what they plan defense-wise. Do they try to make him a pocket passer and keep him in the pocket, or do they try to rush him and try to get some sacks? So it's going to be very interesting to see what they do. I guess it's supposed to be really hot, too. I think it's supposed to be like 90 degrees there too, which, I mean, the guys obviously train for it during the 2-a-days. I'm not worried about that, but that's going to be kind of interesting as well. So,
they don't do 2-a-days anymore. That's
training camp,
not
whatever.
in this PC world.
Yeah, training camp, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you next week right here. Could be Tuesday night.
What's your Iowa prediction, since you asked me?
Yeah. No, good move on you getting that. I got Iowa State winning 38-13.
Points. Wow.
Yeah. No, I'm going way out on a limb there. Mostly because we're on the racing show and no one's going to make fun of me for that pick from here. But if any of my friends heard that, they'd be like, "What makes you so confident, you piece of shit?"
You're going to bet the mortgage payment.
Yeah, I'm betting on Taylor Mauser is what I'm doing. So I can't wait to see the plays he rolls out there with on Saturday. Big shout out to that guy. Love him. So, we'll see you next week. Probably Tuesday. I say, the 2 days we have are Tuesday and Wednesday usually. But just keep an eye on our social media page. By 4:00, we'll have the teaser out there for having a show that night. And yeah, keep refreshing it and just make sure. But whatever word was supposed to be in my head, if all else fails, just go to our YouTube link, hit the live, and you can see every show that we've done. So appreciate y'all again for tuning in, and thanks again to the Weiser Companies for being the sponsor. We'll see you next week. Appreciate it, guys.